All right, fellow babies, welcome back to Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. Hope you can join SIFTD, $50 a year, $5 a month, quite a bargain. If you join this month, we're going to put you in a drawing for a loot crate, worth it. And if you can't join SIFTD, we understand. Watch us on YouTube a week later. Welcome back, fellow babies. Thanks for being with us. This week's first question from SIFTD from Julian Reed 77. With Scorpio slated to release at the holidays this year, do you anticipate Microsoft potentially subsidizing at least some of the cost in order to be able to launch at a semi-competitive price point of $400 to $450, even if it truly delivers native 4K gameplay? Is there a significant risk if it costs more than that? Yeah, I think so. I think that PlayStation 4 Pro has pretty much drawn the price line at $400. If the Scorpio is more than $400, I think it's going to have problems. And yes, I know that 4K is worth more than HDR in the PS4 Pro. I don't think gamers are going to read it that way. Most people don't have a 4K TV yet, and the reason they don't is you don't need one. There isn't any 4K broadcast, so there's no real reason to have one. 4K TVs are coming down in price. We saw this most recent holiday. You can get a 55-inch Samsung. You could at holiday for $549 4K, pretty cheap. But think about that. The TV costs $549. Do I really want to spend $500 for a console? I don't think so. I think Microsoft made the mistake with the Xbox One launching at $500. Sony got lucky, launched at $400, and they're outselling Xbox roughly 2 to 1. I think Xbox Scorpio cannot afford to be higher priced than PS4 Pro. And I think the biggest concern is going to be if PS4 Pro comes down to $349 in price by holiday, which I think is possible, maybe probable. And so I think a price higher than $399 is a mistake and will spell very poor sales for Scorpio. So yeah, I think they have to subsidize. The question is, what does the chipset cost? Because if you think about, an Xbox One, which is $299, what's the difference in the guts between an Xbox One and an Xbox One Scorpio? And it's the CPU GPU combo. Is it likely that it costs $100 more to make? I don't think so. I think it's probably $50, $70 more to make the CPU GPU combo. So if Microsoft can sell the Xbox One S at $299 now, $249 possibly this holiday, it's entirely possible they can charge $349 or $399 for Scorpio. So we'll see. There might be other things in there. I mean, maybe there's a 20 terabyte hard drive, who knows? I don't think so. Maybe there's a ton of flash memory in there instead of hard drive. Don't know. But we'll know more at E3. I pretty much expect they're going to price it $399. So we'll find out. I hope they don't make another mistake, because I think it's put them behind this console cycle. And again, I'm going to get one anyway. I don't even have a 4K TV yet. I'm going to get an Xbox One Scorpio and a 4K TV. That's going to be my 2017 Christmas present to myself. And if my wife is watching, highly unlikely, you can get that for me for Christmas, honey, a 4K TV. Samsung 65. Thank you. All right, moving on. We got a question from SIFTD from Dan Dave Taylor. Dan and Dave, remember Dan and Dave? Both Microsoft and Sony have recently closed development studios and canceled projects. Does this signify financial instability, or is it to fund what they deem more profitable projects? Will either company continue funding riskier projects where rewards may be slim? Financial instability, absolutely not. Microsoft is a very profitable, multi-billion dollars of profits per year company. So not even close. It's not instability, I would call it financial prudence. Sony, less profitable, but still a profitable company. And the games division is actually the bright spot. So no, they're just tweaking to make sure that they're kind of balanced and they're making the right, outflow for first-party software, and they're going to generate profits on each game. So no, I think canceling projects were not feasible or the games weren't looking good. Actually, if anything, Sony looks like it's putting more into first party than it has in past years. Microsoft certainly is doing so. I don't think that it's that at all. I think that they will fund good projects. Risk is a relative term. I don't think that Microsoft or Sony look for the biggest selling game ever because they're single platform games. So if they wanted to make money on the game, they'd make the multi-platform. They're trying to make compelling content that will drive a system purchase decision. So, they're just trying to have enough first-party content to sway you to buy an Xbox instead of a PlayStation or vice versa. And they're going to fund, those projects they think are going to get the highest review scores and have the most interest. So, typically they're looking to sell 4 to 10 million units of a game, not Grand Theft Auto numbers at 70 million, but not a slouchy, nothing game. 4 million on a single console is plenty, and they probably are profitable. 8 or 10 million, they're making a lot of money. So games they're canceling are games I think that they consider to be smaller, more likely to sell 2 or 3 million, maybe to get bad review scores and not, and taint the image of the console. But I don't think it has anything to do with financial instability. I would say it's just making a risk and reward decision and funding things that they have the best chance of success. Our next question from SIFTD comes from McWomble. What effect, if any, will the fines for insider trading levied against Ubisoft execs have on Vivendi's hostile takeover? Does it make Ubisoft more vulnerable? None whatsoever. I don't even know what the level of fines was or what exactly was settled. I read about it when it first broke, but it was small potatoes. It was small amounts of stock. Nobody's going to jail. I actually think it was kind of honest mistakes, and I'm not even sure that they made mistakes. But no, zero impact. I don't think Vivendi cares at all. I don't think the Ubisoft executives that were named did anything intentionally wrong, and I think it was settled that way. I remember, as I said, reading about it when the case was brought. I actually didn't read about the resolution, but I remember the allegations they all sounded pretty innocent. The amount of stock sold was tiny. So no, I don't think anybody made enough money to retire on these trades, and I think it's a rounding error as far as Vivendi is concerned. I don't know what Vivendi is looking for in this takeover. Ubisoft clearly doesn't want to be controlled by Vivendi. Vivendi clearly has no clue what it's doing running a video game company, as they evidenced with Activision Blizzard. So I don't think this ultimately is going to go through. I don't think Vivendi's going to end up owning Ubisoft, and I don't think Ubisoft is any more or less vulnerable as a result of these trades. Next question from SIFTD from Ultimate Brent. How you doing, Brent? Will the Wii U version of Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild hinder Switch hardware sales, or will there be not enough systems available for it to matter? No, I think Nintendo's going to make 2 million Switches, and they'll sell those. I think that those 12 million of you or 13 million of you have a Wii U. You can decide if you want to upgrade your system and get a Switch, or you want to play it on the Wii U. I would not blame anybody with a Wii U for buying Legends of Zelda on the Wii U. The thing is that knowing that the Wii U is going to be obsolete in a matter of a year or two, do you really want to be buying software for that? Knowing you're going to buy a Switch in the next couple of years, why not just, bite off, bite the, what do you call it?
Bite the bullet?
Bite the bullet. I started to say bite the fat. I knew it wasn't that. Why not just bite, thank you, I got frozen there. Why not just bite the bullet and buy it now? And I get it, if you don't have the money, of course you can't. But if you're going to buy a Switch anyway, you might as well just put it on a credit card and buy it, and only buy Zelda once. I wonder how many of those people who bought Grand Theft Auto old gen bought it again for next gen, and one of the reasons that GTA was announced old gen only when it came out in 2013 was that they didn't want people to freeze and not buy it on old gen and wait for the next gen edition. So, Zelda's coming out on both. If I were gonna buy it, I would just buy a new Switch, trade in your Wii U for 75 bucks at GameStop, and spend the extra $225. Now you're future-proof for the next 5 or 6 years. That's what I would do, but you know, I don't know. I understand. Good question. Some people will freeze. Some people will buy it on the old gen console. Some people won't buy it at all and will wait till they can afford the next gen. But the truth is, I think that first 2 million will sell out relatively quickly. So ask me again, you know, in October, November, and we'll see how the Switch is selling. That's it for this week's Pachter Factor on SIFTD.net. Thanks for joining us. If you have questions, make sure to address them on Twitter to @SIFTDGames and copy @Michael Pachter, and we'll be sure to answer as many as we can get to. See you all next week. Thanks.